Survivor Now podcast.
I was busy on the beach, like I was on Survivor.
I don't believe anything you say on Survivor. I almost called it.
It's now time.
I'm so excited.
Oh no!
I do love you, but
Oh, it's so wrong.
I gotta go. I got something to do. Not as exciting as this. I'll tell you that right now, but.
hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Survivor Now podcast, where we are gearing up for the finale of Survivor 49. I am Ollie, and I am, as always, joined by the lovely Tori. Tori, how are we this evening?
I'm doing super well. My dog has her face. You guys can't see, but my dog has her face on me. I think she's excited. Yeah, I mean, she sometimes makes an appearance on the pod, so we'll see what happens. But I'm excited for tonight.
I was going to say, tonight is obviously the big one. We have got the finale, as I said, of Survivor 49. I mean, Gemini is already in the chat. They can't believe it, that it's the finale. We have got JJJ saying who is excited for the finale. We are. Also, Matt and I, a regular guest on the podcast, super stoked. Cheers for a great season as well. Thank you so much. But we are ready for Survivor 49. First of all, Tori, general thoughts and feelings. How are you feeling? How is it all going into tonight? What are your general thoughts and feelings, just basically?
I mean, I am excited. As always, anything could happen. However, we didn't get the shakeup that I thought we would get last episode, which we'll get into later. So I feel like it's a little more predictable than I thought it would be. But again, who knows? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we will get in quickly to last week's episode, which I agree. I think it definitely was. There was something I was like, oh, really? You could have done something. Mm-hmm. But obviously, I'm just excited to see what is going to happen tonight. Just a reminder to everyone, though, we are obviously live. So please go ahead and like and subscribe if you have not already. Because why not? This finale week, now is the time if you're going to. But before we get started, obviously it is the finale. We love to do. We still do our icebreakers, though. So, Tori, are you ready for your icebreaker?
I am so ready, as always, Ollie. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, for this icebreaker, I'm going to get you to blind rank 5 moments from this season. So I'm going to give you 5 moments and you have to rate them 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And what I will say is these are the exact same ones that the pre-show that Cara and Matthew have just done in New York live for Bryce and Wen they've done the exact same ones. So,
oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see if I have the same answer.
Yes. Right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So the first one is Jake's sea crate bite.
Jake's sea crate bite. Oh my gosh. I mean, it was definitely like a big moment. They were trying to make it like a big thing. It wasn't like, in my opinion, like one of the most interesting moments in terms of like the game of Survivor. So I'm going to wait, there's 5 moments, right? I have to rank 5. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to rank that at number 4. Let's go number 4.
Ooh, okay. So you're going to put the sea crate bite at number 4. I need to write this down. Mm-hmm. Okay, so number 4 is sea crate. Okay, your next one. So you've still got 1, 2, 3, and 5. Your next one is the Nate blindside. Nate's blindside.
Interesting. You know, it was definitely like not the least interesting thing. I don't know that I don't know if it really stood out to me, but do I want to go number 5 already? I mean, I might put that at number 5 just because like it doesn't really stand out. We'll give away the number 5 spot.
Okay, Nate's blindside is at number 5. Okay, the next one is Sophie B's Knowledge is Power play.
Oh my gosh. You know, because it got so much hype and like I was so excited to see it used. I mean, I think even if I didn't give away the number 5 spot, I wouldn't put it at number 5. Like I might put it at 4 if that was still available. So let's go 3 just because it didn't go the way that I thought it would.
Okay. So you've got 1 and 2 left. There are only 2 choices and you've got 1 and 2. Are you ready? Are you ready for the 4th one?
I'm ready.
It is Steven's journey.
Oh
so Steven's journey to earn his blocker vote.
I'm going to take a risk and go with I'm gonna give that number 2 just because I like a physical challenge. Like I like seeing people being physical, trying to earn something. And we saw Steven's, I mean, even though he got voted out the next episode, we saw his stock rise. Like he became like a more kind of like interesting player that episode.
Okay, so you have got in 5th place Nate's Blindside. In 4th place, you have The Secret Bite. In 3rd, you have Sophie B's Knowledge is Power Play. In 2nd, you have Steven's Journey. Do you want to know what you've put at number 1?
What did I put at number 1?
At number 1, you put the rivalry of Sage versus Shannon.
Oh, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that number 1.
I had a feeling you might be.
Yeah, I'm glad that I left that open. You know what? I don't know that I would change much about my list. Maybe flip-flop a couple of things, but I'm actually happy with how that turned out.
Well, I was going to say, Gemini is in the chat saying that worked out. So they agree with you.
In true form, I took a risk and it paid off. I made a big move.
You did. Well done. Obviously, I do just want to point out, Zans, you put this in the chat. Tori didn't delete that video. I did. But if you do want to see our predictions video, it is on our Instagram. So go check us out at Instagram, at Survivor Now Podcast. And you will be able to see what our predictions are. Zans is already coming for you, Tori, in this chat.
Oh my gosh, I know. And you know what? We are going to talk about her. If she's going to come up, I'm just going to say.
She will. But,
we all know I'm an apologist. I'm a Sophie B apologist. So
it's fine.
We say some positives.
Well, let's go to it because obviously before we get into this finale and this final 5, let's briefly talk about last week's episode where unfortunately we saw Steven become the next member of the jury. Obviously, there had been this whole thing about Sophie wanting to go against Rizzo and Savannah. We had this whole thing about Sophie's knowledge is power and how it was definitely going to be 2 sides. And then we kind of saw a unanimous vote.
We did.
So, Tori, brief kind of reactions. What did you think about last week's episode?
I thought Sophie was going home. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, the more I've thought about it, the more it makes a little more sense. But I had a couple of points on the after show, which some of you might have heard and saw. I think like one of the things that's like one of the more basic reasons why it doesn't make sense to me is like both Sophie and her alliance and Steven were threats to Christina and Sage, right? So they were working with Steven, who was a threat just the same way that other people were threats, arguably maybe just as much. And my very basic point is, if it's between those two, wouldn't you rather like go to the end and feel more confident going to the end with somebody that like has had your back and that has been working with you and that you like theoretically like better than all these other people? I don't know. There were a lot of things that just didn't make sense, but that is just one of the reasons I kind of brought up. Again, it's pretty basic, but yeah. I don't know. What did you think about it?
Zans, first of all, I was not rolling my eyes. But also, Zans, I picked Savannah. Yeah, I agree. I think there was a lot of missed opportunities. And I actually said this on Got Something For You. I did feel like almost every single player except for one person had like something that didn't go right for them last episode, which like I was kind of sat there going, like, what is this going to do for the game? Because right now you've got one person that kind of that last round to me didn't hurt them, and that's Savannah. Because I feel like Rizzo not playing as idol again just looks bad on the jury. You've got Sophie B misplaying her knowledge is power, which I think does her a disservice. And then Sage and Christina, I do still feel like voting for Steven was not their best move. So it's a tricky one. Gemini, sorry, Gabe is actually in the chat. Gabe, you've not been here for a couple of weeks.
No.
Sophie pretty much out as a possible winner contender now. And Gemini saying, I don't think the knowledge is power was that bad. I think the edit arc of the knowledge is power was bad. No, do you know what? I can agree with that because I agree. I think the edit of the knowledge is power is what then kind of left things like bad for Sophie B, if that makes sense. Do you agree?
You know, I don't know. Like I kind of agree with that. I think like when it comes to the knowledge is power, I think like it all got ruined by the fact that Sophie went to the sanctuary with Savannah
Yes.
and Rizzo. Like I think the
Mhm.
sanctuary ruined it for all of us. If it wasn't for that, like if Savannah hadn't won, like if Steven had won and taken Christina and Sage or something, or if Savannah would have randomly taken like another person besides Sophie that wasn't in her alliance just to like get in their good graces, Sophie wouldn't have so much of a problem playing it against Rizzo. So that's what I'll say about that.
No, I completely agree. And before you know, I'm just quickly doing something on Instagram, which is why my
Oh, no, you're totally
eyes
fine.
are like going down here because I'm trying to do 20 things at once. Because unfortunately, we have everyone enjoying their lovely time in New York, which they are absolutely to
Yeah,
do.
shout out to our people. Shout out to our people.
I was about to say, for those of you that don't know, we have got some people. If anyone is watching this and is actually at the Bryson Wen event, go give some love to Cara and Matthew. They've just done their own pre-show with Bryson Wen, and I believe Abe is there, and I believe the Stockwatch boys, Josh and Will are both there. So go say hi. But yeah, I mean, I wish I actually know what sounds I'm going to put out because I agree. You know what? I wish I could call it that. I should.
Was it an accident? I don't know.
Yeah. And Gabe also says, I think it's down to Savannah or Rizzo winning like everyone preseason was predicting, which is very, and it's interesting because I think this episode, you still had, like before last episode, I think you saw kind of contenders. And I definitely think Savannah was a contender. I think Sage was a contender. Sophie B was a contender. Even Rizzo had potential. And I just feel like this episode, a lot of people's stock went down, which is what I'm kind of there going, ooh. But let's get into this finale because in 45 minutes time, we will have the finale start and we've got our final five. We've got Christina, we've got Savannah, we've got Sage, we've got Sophie B, and we've got Rizzo. Tori, my first question to you is this the final five you expected? When you first saw the cast, did you sit here and go, yep, that final five makes complete sense?
When I first saw the cast, no. I always kind of knew that Savannah and Rizzo would maybe make it this far. So I guess I did. I maybe like expected half of the final five to be what it is. I thought that the Yellow Tribe, the original, I forget the name of it, original Hina.
Yeah, Hina.
I thought they were going to be the Disaster Tribe. So I did not expect Christina to be sitting here. I didn't expect Steven to make it as far as he did. Those kinds of things. Obviously, Steven's not here anymore, but you know. So yeah, maybe half. I also picked Sophie B as my original winner preseason. So I guess I was rooting for Sophie, in which case I maybe thought that she would make it pretty far as well. I don't know. Is this what you
I mean, Gabe kind of says I expected two of them in the final five. And I kind of agree. I think out of the two I probably definitely expected had the most potential were Sophie and Savannah, just because, I don't know, there was just something about Sophie and then also something about Savannah that I was like, okay. Rizzo, I was kind of sat there thinking he could kind of be like mid-jury. I was like, I definitely see him getting to the jury, but kind of like mid-jury. I think Sage and Christina, I really wasn't sure on. And actually, I did think Steven was going to get this far. So I was happy with that.
Okay. I mean, obviously, what can we really tell from preseason content? By the way, everybody, I'm sorry. My dog is crying. She's making noise. So if you hear that, I apologize. Hopefully she'll stop. But anyway, you know, like what can you really tell about preseason stuff, like from seeing the pictures? Something did speak to me about Sophie. So I guess, like, I don't know. Like I said, I maybe kind of expected her to be there.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, this comment from Gabe saying Sage was a nice surprise since she was mainly a character, not a serious player. I agree with this because I think, especially when you saw the first couple of episodes, I did not clock Sage as I thought Sage was going to be someone. It was that case of Sage is either going to be pre-jury or she is going to be like mid-match. So the fact she's made it here, I'm so happy to see because I have fallen in love with Sage this season.
Great.
Sage is someone I would love.
Yeah, she's made a few errors, I will say. Like, I liked her gameplay, like pre-merge and like really early merge better than I've liked it like late in the merge.
Yeah.
One other thing I'll say about Rizzo is like I don't know, I feel like I wasn't surprised by him making the final 5 only because like obviously we have season 50 players that haven't made it to the final 5, but I feel like if they were gonna put season 49 players on 50, like they have to have made it. I felt that they have to have made it. To the final 5 and maybe even like 1.
I felt like with Rizzo, I was like, he could at least be kind of around 6 to 7. That was kind of my feelings with him, just because I feel like he was going to do something that maybe caused him to then get blindsided that way. But overall, like this final 5, I feel like it is a really dynamic group. Again, Christina being the last Hina member is like what I was there shocked with the most because obviously, again, I think a lot of people counted Christina out. I'm really happy to see Christina here again. Do I think she has a chance of winning? No, but I was really happy to see her because I think she proved a lot of people wrong, which is like great to see.
Yeah.
So let's get into this final 5 and I want to get your opinions on each of them first. So we're going to go through each of them one at a time. And I want you to tell me with each player, what they have going for them and then what they have going against them. Because I think this will be like a nice way that we can kind of see. And everyone in the chat, remember the chat's over there. You can join in as well.
Please.
So let's start off with Christina. The last Hina member. She has not won any individual immunities, but she has never received a vote. And I do believe she has voted correctly 3 out of the 5 times she's been eligible to vote. So Tori, what is the thing that is going for Christina?
The thing that's going for Christina is just that, like, she has a great personality, I guess, for lack of a better word or way of saying that. Like, she's likable, and that does go a pretty long way depending on the season of Survivor. So I do think that she's got that going for her, and I don't think that she's particularly, besides Savannah, made any real enemies.
Yeah, I think in terms of Christina, the main thing she's got going for her is the fact that she has been able to manage her threat level. No one has looked at Christina and gone, we need to get her out. Even when she had an idol, and actually, like, she does have some things to her resume. She's found an idol. Has she played it correctly? No, but she's managed to find it. I was going to say I think she has good jury management, but I'm also not sure on that. I think it's more so, I think she's likable. I think she has the likability.
Yeah.
Gabe has said that Christina is too nice of a lady, didn't work well gameplay-wise. At least people like her on jury.
That's true.
And then you've got Zan's going, get that finalist bag, Christina, go, go. Inu is in the chat saying, pros, underestimated last Hina and a nice person. The cons, not successful in choosing who goes out and basically becomes a goat. And I agree. So, Tori, let's get into what we think Christina has going against her. What do you feel like her struggles are going into this finale?
So I do think that whoever just made that last comment really kind of said it, where like she kind of like waited too long to take over her own game. And now, like, again, like that person said, like, she's unfortunately kind of a goat. Like, she doesn't really have like any move to stand on other than the fact that she's the last Hina standing. I mean, you can make an argument for that. And she found an idol, but she played it incorrectly. And it, like, not only did she play it incorrectly, but the person that she played it for didn't get any votes. So she obviously didn't have like a real read on the game. And while I do think that she hasn't made any real enemies, I also don't think she particularly has any like great friends on the jury.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's really like riding hard for Christina. I mean, you could maybe make the argument for one or two people, but I can't really think of who that would even be.
I feel like it'd be the case of like she's got friends on the jury, but the question is, has she got supporters on the jury? I think there's a very clear definition. There's a difference between friends on the jury and supporters on the jury, because perfect example is Kenzie from Survivor 46.
Mm-hmm.
You have, and actually it's Kenzie and Charlie. So Kenzie and Charlie both have friends on the jury. Tiffany for Kenzie and Maria technically for Charlie. They're both friends. But what we have is Tiffany being a cheerleader, being a support for Kenzie on the jury, whereas Maria wasn't really being the cheerleader and supporter for Charlie on that, which she's allowed.
Vote for him.
I'm making that statement now. She is allowed to do that. People don't go hating on her. She has no reason.
100%.
But I think that's the case here. I think Christina has friends on the jury, but does she have the supporters on the jury?
Yeah.
And yes, Ollie supports. Yes, Isabel. But yeah, Tiff was head Kenzie in charge. Like, she was in charge of like getting Kenzie those votes basically on jury. And I think that's what's going to be Christina's struggle. If she gets to the end, is she going to have that support? Because again, perception. We saw it last episode, and Stephen was the one to point out that the perception is that Christina is a sloppy player. So is that going to be is her perception going into that final tribal council is, you're a sloppy player, prove us wrong? Right. Is she going to be able to do that? That's what I worry about.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Sage. Okay. So what do you think Sage has got going for her?
So I think that Sage has some actual moves that she could argue were her big moves if she's able to articulate it really, really well. Now, none of these were, well, let me actually back up. Like, I think like some of these required her to like turn on people that maybe she was starting to work with and vice versa. And that's getting a little bit into kind of like her downfall or her detriment. So I won't go too hard on that point for right now. But I think, again, if she's able to articulate these points really well, then I think that could sit well with the jury. And she does have a friend that is also a major cheerleader in Jawan. Like, I think that Jawan could be her Kenzie. I mean, I'm sorry, her Tiffany.
Her Tiffany. Yeah. I completely agree. I think the main thing that Sage has got going for her is jury management. Out of every single player left in that final five, she is the person that I think has the strongest jury management, because she has Juwan that is going to be her biggest cheerleader no matter what. We've seen that. And I think she's got other people on that jury who are going to like be on her side. I would say Stephen could be someone that's in that camp. You've got maybe Alex that could potentially be in that area. So Sophie S, I'm not sure. I think Sophie S could.
Yeah,
depending on who the final three is.
Yeah, it depends on who
Yeah. But I think, and again, I think she does have a really strong resume. She has got moves as well, which I think do like go over other people like Christina, like Sophie B, even Rizzo and Savannah. I feel like she's got some moves that can one up both of them. And I'm just going to go to the chat because you've got Inu saying pros got herself out of the bottom on Uli and Nukella. Recognized who could be strong allies for her, the person everyone wanted as a vote, cool person who is well liked. Exactly. Zan says, I just think it would be hilarious if she had a lip balm or something called Jarzo Sage. It's because she's, I think they were saying she's got some things. Sage is seen as a character, shown she has moved but motivated by emotions, not logic. Sage at least has one guaranteed vote, just she really fumbled the game in Merge after getting power. Well, let's see that. What do you think, Tori, is her biggest obstacle going into this finale?
Yeah, I would say, again, probably what somebody in the chat just said, which is that she made her big moves, but she really made a couple mistakes late in the game. And obviously it hasn't cost her the game yet. So if she can argue that those earlier plays really changed her game for the better, and even like the late moves that she made were to her benefit more so than like what we saw or what the jury might understand, then she might still be able to take it. However, it did look like she made a couple blunders when she had shots at like seemingly bigger threats.
Yeah.
I also think it does depend, and we already said this too, but it does depend who she's sitting next to. If she can get herself to sit next to Christina and Sophie, I think she has a real shot.
Yeah. I think Sage's biggest obstacle is actually Savannah.
Yeah.
And it's because obviously she had made it very known to a lot of people that her and Savannah were not seeing eye to eye. She was someone she wanted to get Savannah out. So I think it's one of those. I think Savannah's going to be an obstacle for her in the sense of if she goes to the end with Savannah, everyone's going to sit there and go, you wanted her out. How was she sat here as well?
Yes.
And also, if she sat on the jury, it's a case of you wanted Savannah out for the longest time. Why did it take you this long to do it? And I think that's where my worry is. I do think that, and I think as well, that could kind of come across as emotions. I mean, we have seen that she's a really logical player.
Yes.
And I think she articulates herself very logically. Like, even when it came to Steven's vote out, she logically laid out the reasons for the game, like game-wise, which made sense. Like, it made sense, obviously, why she wanted to target Steven logistically from a threat perspective. But then it's like the grand scheme of things. I think that's where it kind of falls short, where people are going to go, well, yes, Steven is this threat, but then you have this person that you want to target. You've got this that you've also said. And I think it's those things that could come back to bite her. Inu says in the chat, cons losing control of the game by getting power back to old Uli. Decisions towards the end seemed more emotional, could potentially have burned some of the jurors by voting against them. I agree. Because I think, again, a lot of people think, obviously, we always remember jury management, social game, physical game, strategic game. There's also perception. And I always say this, I'm like, what is the perception they are coming across as? Because when you're sat there on the jury, you're looking at these three people and you are looking at your perception of them, which from hindsight could be a completely wrong perception, but because you have that perception of them, you don't see these other things. So I'm hoping if she was to make it to the end, she'd be able to articulate that and kind of show people the real deal, not the perception. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Absolutely.
Yeah. And thank you. And can confirm she has also not received any votes either. That is another thing that Sage has got going for her. She has never received a vote yet. So, I mean, the fact that it's Christina and Sage have both made it to the end and they are in the minority and they've never received votes, I'm like, that's also a skill, like being in the minority and not getting votes. Like,
Absolutely.
Okay, actually says it reminds you of Sugar and Gabon.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah.
Let's move on to the next person because we're not going to take a break. We are just going to go straight through. Why not?
I love it.
We are going to go. Matthias says it. This person, Rizzo.
Oh my gosh, I'm having a hard time reading it. R-I-Z-G-O-D, Riz God. All right, let's do it.
Yes. So, what do you think is what is one of Rizzo's strengths going into this finale?
I mean, the biggest strength and the most obvious one to me is the fact that he's held on to this idol that everybody has known about this whole entire time. And he got away with a really dope lie last week or like recently where his idol's only good until final six. I thought that was brilliant. Now, I read a stat. I forget like how many seasons this spanned, but Gabon was in there. There was like a span of a few seasons, maybe 5 seasons, where idols were only good until final 6.
Yeah.
So it's plausible for them to bring this back, but for everybody to believe that, I mean, he's just a really good liar, I guess. Now, he can also make sort of like a little bit of an underdog case for himself. Now, he was only the underdog for like 1 episode, but he can say like Uli was seemingly in the minority, in trouble. Like he and Savannah were going home. And then they completely flipped it at that split tribal. So yeah, he's pulled off some really big moves with a little bit of luck. And I think, again, if he can articulate that well and come off a little less cocky than he's been coming off recently, I think that he can pull this thing off. Now, one last thing I'll say is that on this podcast, I have notoriously been saying that I think that Rizzo, for some reason, is coming off less cocky than other people would if they were pulling similar moves. I no longer think that that's the case. I think he went I think he went one step too far with the theatrics of everything in this last week. He got up, he was like, I think I'm gonna play it, and like talked about playing it and didn't play it. And then the fake idol thing, I don't know. I think that that's kind of gone away a little bit for me. So
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you've come to my side. I'm so glad.
I'm in your camp now.
People are finally understanding it. I do just want to pull up this comment from Zans because I find it hilarious. Rizzo tries to play the idol at Final Tribal and Jeff has to say, no, you want people to vote for you. That would be
Love.
Yeah, for me, the positives that Rizzo has coming into this final is the strategic merits of not playing his idol. And I've said that very specifically, the strategic merits, because again, the fact that, I want to bring up Anu's comment here as well. Played strategically and got rid of players that were not in the core alliance, was able to drive votes, hold on to his idol. Like, again, strategically, I do feel like Rizzo has played really well. Yeah. He was able to get people out that were a threat to him. Alex, perfect example.
Yeah.
And I think it was then Sophie S. I've always said this, he is not the main driver of that. Everyone collectively came together, but obviously the edit tried to show that he was the mastermind. Yeah. But yeah, I think the strategic value of not playing his idol has benefited him here because he's managed to get 2 Final 5 with a public idol and he's not had to play it. And he has basically secured his spot in the Final 4. We know that Rizzo's in the Final 4.
We know.
If he doesn't play it at Final 5, I'm going to be like, what are you doing, bruv? Like, what are you doing? Like, just play it. When it comes to what's going against him, it is the social plays of not playing his idol. And I mean, you said it perfectly, Tori. I've been saying this for weeks. I don't think Rizzo is going to win. And I think what costs him the game is going to be him not playing his idol and how the jury are feeling about it. We saw it last episode clear as day. When he didn't play his idol, all the jury were like rolling their eyes, couldn't be bothered with it. And I think that is going to hurt him. I mean, Gabe said it in the chat. The theatre kid in him was too much last time. Could tell players didn't like it. And I mean, we even heard it in Steven's exit interviews that he was like, I'm fine with it. Like, I was not scared of Rizzo. And that is telling. Like, Gemini's also said Rizzo is going to take credit for MC, Alex, and Sophie, which I think is fair. I think he can probably take credit for MC and Alex. I don't necessarily think he can take full credit for Sophie, just because I do feel there was multiple people. And I think what's going to go against him is his confidence. If he sits there and tries to speaking hard. He sits there and tries to tell the jury they're wrong for something. I don't think that's going to sit well because I think the jury already feel like he is slightly cocky.
Yes.
And so if he sits, if he says, I was the mastermind behind the Sophie vote, and someone on the jury goes, well, no, actually, and if his response is, well, no, you are wrong because of X, Y, and Z, the jury are going to sit there and go, bye. I'd sit there and go, no. So I think that's my worry for him this game. If he makes the final tribal council, I don't think he is going to have good jury management, and I don't think he's going to get the jury to be on his side.
I would agree with everything you just said. And I would also add that I don't know, one could argue that he may not have been able to pull off the MC vote if not for Savannah's mega advantage. She won immunity and she won this advantage and she got to come to camp, and that is what shook everything up. So I think Savannah, if she's also sitting there, could say if it weren't for that happening and if it weren't for me kind of coming in and scaring everyone essentially, that probably wouldn't have worked out. So I think that she can take just as much credit for that if she's sitting at the end. And I would also say, this is kind of basic, but I've also kind of been in agreement with people that say, like, if there's like a young 20-something on the jury versus somebody that's made similar moves and played a similar game, like Savannah, she's not that much older, but she's in her 30s. I'm probably voting for that older person, just for the simple fact of like they have more like maturity on how to handle the money, right? Like it just really comes down to that.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a silly thing, but I've heard that that's a reason that other people say as well, and I do kind of agree with that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I want to go to Inu because Inu is doing a great job at these pros and cons. The cons, for Rizzo is arrogance, disputes being in an opposite alliance with most of the jury. He is seen more as a friend rather than a Boston Rob Godfather type. Needs to remain somewhat humble. And I think, like what Inu said, I think kind of you two have both kind of coincided perfectly what I think is the worry there.
Yeah.
But you mentioned her, so let's go over to Savannah. I'm sorry, Colton Billingsworth has just said, I love how none of us even consider Christina. She seems so... She does seem sweet, but yes, I will admit that I've not heard anyone say Christina. But let's move on to Savannah. Obviously, she has the most individual immunity wins right now. She's got 3. All she needs to do is win both tonight, and not only does she tie the record for female winning, females winning individual immunity, but she does beat it. So that's the key here. What's going on? So what do you think Savannah has going for her?
Savannah, I think, has the most going for her going into this finale. Now, she definitely was the target many times, but and so like some people might say like, oh, like she had to win immunity. That's not as impressive as being strategic to get out of votes. But I do think there's something to be said for winning immunity when you need to win immunity. Like that's part of the game. And like she knew that she needed to lock in, and she did the damn thing. Like she won all these immunities at times when arguably she's needed it every one of those times. And not only that, but her winning that one immunity at the split tribal really kind of like flipped the game and saved her and her alliance. So she's got all of that. And then I said this in my video that we posted on Survivor Now, so go watch it, everybody, if you haven't already. But
on Instagram.
She, in general, she's a really good talker. Like she's a charmer. She can like, even if people like don't necessarily love her as a person, she might be able to suck people in and really like convince them to love her and to appreciate her game and to appreciate her as a player. And that might win people over.
Agreed. Yeah. I agree with everything you've said, so I don't need to say anymore. So I want to go on to what is going against her. For me, that is her perception. I think what the jury's perception of Savannah is could hurt her. Because right now they see her as someone that's very blunt, someone that's very intense. And it's just basically all the words they're saying, the not what they're saying, but how they're saying it, it's coming across in a negative connotation. So that's my worry for Savannah is the fact is she going to be able to shake off the perception that the jury have of her?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. What do you think?
I would agree with that. Like her bluntness, like it can rub people the wrong way, but I think if she can spin that in a positive way and say like, listen, like I had to be like cutthroat. I had to be direct. Otherwise, I may not have gotten my answers that I needed, like in the sense of like, I'm thinking about like the Christina thing, like who are you voting for? Yeah. That causes people to stumble a little bit, you know, and you kind of need that in order to be able to read people, in order to figure out what you need to do and who's working with you. So I think if she could spin that as like a strategy rather than like, oh, that's just who I am, you have to deal with me. I think that would be more well received. Yeah,
I agree. And Isabel actually just said she did the first time she disagrees with me. I do hope her reputation helps her. I hope it does. I hope she gets the respect that she's needed the entire time. Gabe has also said Savannah has had a crazy journey, probably the villain of this season. We've seen her rubbing others the wrong way, played very aggressively and didn't hold back. Which again, that could help her, that could hurt her. We don't know. Inu says, cons, Ice Queen, the jury doesn't like her personally. I mean, some of the jurors while still in the game. So this is where it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Before
we get to the final person, though, I do just want to bring someone in who has finally made it back onto the podcast. I wasn't sure what was going on, but we have him for the finale.
What's up? I have never missed a Survivor finale, and it's not going to start now. And so, hello, everybody. Hello. Sorry for the hesitation tonight. I had something come up, so I have made it here just in time. Wait, what did you say, Ollie?
I think you should tell people.
Let's just say at 4 o'clock this afternoon, I was playing a game of basketball and I rolled on my ankle. It is all good. It is not broke, but it is extremely sprained. So we got a boot. We've got crutches. So you're all good. You're all good.
But are you feeling okay? You're feeling okay, Randy?
Yeah. I think he's slightly laggy.
Okay?
Yes, I am feeling good. Sorry, I think the connections. Yeah, I think I'm lagging on my end.
Yeah. I mean, we've managed to get him here, and everyone in the chat is very excited to see Randy. We've got Gemini, we've got Isabel, we've got Zans. Like, everyone is very happy to see Randy. And you are also echoing. You're having a lovely time here, lagging and echoing.
Everyone is very happy to see you, Randy. And you are also echoing. You're having a lovely time.
I am just going to mute you, Randy. Don't be mean about this. It's fine. But we are going to go on to the final person because we go live in 15 minutes, so we need to try and hurry this. So the final person is Sophie B. Obviously was on the Calais tribe, the disastrous Calais tribe. So, Tori, what has Sophie B got going for her?
My girl. Oh my gosh. Well, I think you just said it. I think her biggest thing and the biggest thing she has going for her is the fact that she survived not only the disaster tribe, but she's the last one standing. There is nobody else left in the game from her original tribe. And I think that there's something really to be said about that because, I mean, the game is called Survivor. She literally survived. And I think if she can really kind of like own that and not even like own it, but like really kind of like use that as the main argument, I think that that would be well received by the jury. I also think, just to be like a little bit of a Sophie apologist, yes, I do think that her not playing her knowledge is power on Rizzo was a mistake. However, I think if she can spin that to the jury by saying this was to my benefit because it looks bad to go against somebody that you've been working with and riding hard with and that you've been having each other's backs, like that can be just as irritating to a jury to see as using an advantage incorrectly. So that's what I'll say about that. If she can really kind of like make that point and say like, oh, I really like whatever happened, like I couldn't go against the people that I was working with because I'm ride or die. And one of my things is loyalty, and I've been loyal to the people I've said I was loyal to. You know, she can use that.
Yeah. I actually think Sophie has the best underdog story. Like, if any, like, it's like if Rizzo tries to say, like, I'm the best underdog, like, Sophie can sit there and be like, sorry, Kelly. And I think she does have a way of being able to be like, I was on a disaster tribe. I did not really have a lot of people. And then I was able to, like, get to the final three. I was able to get to the final three when literally 4 of my tribe mates were the first 4 people out. You've got Inu in the chat saying, last Calais standing remained loyal to her alliance, most liked in her alliance. And then again, Gabe, Sophie has the disaster tribe story, was able to maneuver her way to the end. She just doesn't have a move to call her own. I'm going to bring Randy back in. Randy, we're good. We love. Okay, Randy, what do you think of Sophie right now? What do you think her chances are?
You know what? Sophie is really interesting because I've been preaching from the get-go how this Savannah's winning the season. You look at how the Survivor season 50 tribes lined up. It just makes sense that you have one winner per tribe. But I think this is a props to the editors, and I think it's a prop to Sophie's game as well, and the respect that she's earned with her game so far. That you can't sit here going into this finale and say, "Oh, it's clear cut. Savannah's winning. It's over." Yes, that can be the feeling that you have, but I think it's definitely interesting that there is that like little I don't even know the word. That's that little tingling feeling in the back of your head telling you Sophie could win this. Like she could win tonight and just shock everyone, because I don't think, especially with her coming from the Disaster Tribe, I don't think anyone, as much as we've loved Sophie, was expecting her to go all the way to the finale. It's like
Yeah.
it's so challenging in this game when you don't have that tribal strength to back you up to kind of go into this as a lone wolf per se, and she has done amazingly navigating her way, getting the people that she needs to work with at the right time. And yeah, I'm excited to see how it all plays out, honestly, because there is a little bit of me. I'm obviously like Team Savannah. Just that would be my second straight season where I'm right about my winner pick, but I think Sophie could pull this out as well.
Nice. Okay, well, let's get on to what we think is like what's Sophie's biggest obstacle. So Tori, what do you think Sophie has to do in order to sort herself out? Because right now, what's going against her?
Well, I think we saw it last episode. Like, she was holding on to this amazing advantage that nobody knew about, and that could have been her game-winning move. And unfortunately, she fumbled. Now, as I was saying earlier, she could still spin that in a positive way and say, like, no matter what, I'm loyal. That's my thing. I wasn't going to be disloyal to the people that, were loyal to me. I do what I say I'm going to do. So I do think that is the big thing standing in her way. But again, she could also spin that in a positive. I also think, like, just in general, she, like, not only could that have been her game-winning move, but like, even though she survived all these tribals, like almost every single tribal of the season, she really doesn't have any other move to really call her own. Like, anything that happened, it was like her alliance, or it was people that she was working with, or whatever. Now, one other thing I'll say that's a positive that I forgot to say before is her social game. It was really good. Like, people were divulging information to her that they didn't need to divulge. Like, she wasn't even working with some of these people, and they were like, listen, I kind of want to work with you, or I'm kind of
She's
like,
very trustworthy. That's the thing.
Yeah, her social game was good.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that she was able to get all of that information and people not know that obviously she had the knowledge is power, I think that is a testament to her game. Inu is in the chat again with his con saying the knowledge is power play, too complacent in maintaining the status quo. And I think that's my biggest thing with Sophie at the moment. I think that's what she's got going against her. She didn't rock the boat. When she was settled, she didn't rock the boat. And I think obviously that then meant diminished like relationships with the jury. So I think her jury management is slightly down. Her social game's good, but the jury management, I have the questions over. So that's where my worry with Sophie is. Randy, anything else to add before we kind of get to the predictions? Because we start 10 minutes. We've got 10 minutes, people.
That's Ollie's way of telling me, Randy, quick, do not go on his field. I think it just comes down to if she is to make the finale, I think it's exactly what Tori says, how she twists her words to let the jury know how her game played out. And this is why I'm here, why you guys are not here. I think it comes down to how well spoken she would be at that final tribal council. Personally, I would love to see her, if she were to get the chance to go into fire to beat someone, eliminate someone, to kind of boost her chances. I think that would help her out a lot. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to, I don't think she's the leader going into the finale personally, but how well is she spoken in front of the jury?
Okay. Well, it's going to be interesting because, again, in under 10 minutes, we have got Survivor 49 finale, which I'm so excited. So we're going to finish off now with predictions. So, Randy and Tori, it's straight shot predictions. I want you to predict who you think is getting fifth, who you think is losing in fire making. If you want to predict the two people in fire making, you can. And then I want you to predict the winner. So it's those three things: fifth place, fire making, final three winner. So, Tori, do you want to go first?
I do. That's why I raised my hand.
Love that. Go for it.
All right, fifth place. Sage. And I think Savannah has immunity to get her out. Rizzo plays his idol. In fire making. So I think Savannah's going to win both immunities tonight. I think she's winning twice. I think she's going to break that record, which is one of the reasons I think she's going to be on 50. Random prediction. I think in fire, she's going to go ahead and put her allies, be like, I love you guys, but it's got to be you two. I think she's going to put Rizzo and Sophie. I think Sophie pulls out the fire making win. So therefore, the final three is Savannah, Christina, Sophie. I think Savannah pulls out that win. I do think it's maybe closer than like a unanimous vote. I think Sophie maybe gets a few votes.
Nice. Okay, I like that. Okay, Randy, what are your predictions?
Tori, we're very close. I do think Rizzo's going out in fire. I think that's an iconic way for Rizzo to go out. I personally think Christina, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I have a gut feeling Christina is going to be the next one to go. And then it's going to be, I really want to say Savannah at fire. I really do. I think it's going to be Savannah, Rizzo at fire. Savannah beats Rizzo, and I'm going to say it's Sage, Sophie, and Savannah in the final three. Did you say winner as well? Sorry, are we saying winner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Who's your winner in that?
Sage gets third, 0 vote finalist, and I'm going to put Sophie second, and I do think Savannah pulls it out.
Okay, I don't agree with the 0 vote finalists on Sage, but that's fine. What I will say is Isabel likes, yes, all women. I would love to say it's going to be all women. I don't know if it's going to be. I definitely feel like Sage is going to go out at 5th. I do think Sage is going to go at 5th. I have this feeling if that final three, if that threesome Tres Leches want to stick together, they will put Christina in fire. And I do think if they put Christina in fire, Christina loses. So I'm going to say Christina loses in fire making. And I think both Rizzo and Sophie are going to ask to go in fire. It's just depending on which one Savannah decides. Okay. I think she would let Rizzo go to fire. And then I think the final three, Savannah, Rizzo, and Sophie, I think Savannah wins, and I think Rizzo gets second. But I don't necessarily know the vote count. I think it could be like a 1, 2, and then whatever the rest of the votes are, like 1, 2, 5.
Okay.
You're supposed to be Ollie. You're supposed to be on team like iconic women. You're supposed to be on team iconic women.
I know, but I unfortunately think a straight white man is going to come in because that's what straight white men love to do. They just love to come in randomly at times. Hi, Randy. All right. But Gemini is here for all three predictions. Just wanted to say. And Zan says Sage out, Savannah 4th, Christina 2nd, Christina 3rd, Rizzo 2nd, Sophie sole survivor. But those are our predictions. I did star a couple of things as well. Zan said this earlier, his prediction, that is his prediction. Colton Billingsworth Ward thinks he wants Sophie to win. And Kitta predicts that the winner of Survivor 49 will be Savannah. So this is your last chance, everyone. Who do you think is winning? We have got 5 minutes left until the airing of the finale. So this is your last chance to tell us who you want to win. But we are going to start closing it out. Tori, thank you for joining me as always on the pre-show.
Randy, it's been a great season.
Thank you. Obviously, Randy, thank you for coming on just at the last minute. It's always a pleasure. But just to let you lot know what is going to happen this week, obviously we have a load of content coming down on Survivor now, so remember to like and subscribe so you can see all the content this week. Tomorrow, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have got an after show social collab. Tori, Bruce, and Cara are going to be joined together. They are going to be doing an after-show Survivor social collab. They're going to be talking about the finale and also with some social elements, social butterfly, social hour. That's all going to come into play. And then on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, we have got Stock Watch, where they're going to go through the last bit of the rankings, the power rankings, with Troy Zan from One World and Game Changers. He's joining them. We finally got him on for the finale, so he's going to be joining the boys at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then on Sunday, it will be Got Something For You with myself and Phil. And we will be joined by the ever lovely Lauren O'Connell from Survivor Edge of Extinction. We're going to be recapping the finale and then looking at everything that went down on social media, all the praise, all the shock, all the little tidbits that people will finally be able to say now that the season will be over. So that is what we have got to come. Tori and Randy, any final thoughts before we close things out?
Yeah, I just want to say, thanks everybody for showing up this whole season. I mean, I've loved having your comments. I love your responses to our hot takes, mostly mine. And it's just been really fun. And it's going to be a good finale. I'm excited.
I agree. Randy, any final thoughts?
I don't know. I was getting a lot of crackling on my end, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay. But I just wanted to pop on and say thank you guys so much for supporting Survivor Now this season and tuning in. And have fun tonight. Have fun watching the finale.
That is, yeah. Make sure you have fun. And again, as Tori said, thank you so much to everyone for joining us. Just quickly, I'm going to go through the comments before I go. Gabe thinks Savannah. Gemini is Sophie B. You've got Inu saying Savannah. You've got Isabel saying Soph or Savannah. Are we going to see another female winner? I hope so. But the finale starts in 2 minutes. Go grab your popcorn, go grab your drinks, and get ready for the Survivor 49 finale. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Remember to subscribe because we've got all the content coming up. But for now, we will see you next season for the pre-shows. But we will also see you very, very soon.